Welcome, Howard. I understand you live in New Zealand, right?
I do, Gary. We're coming into to winter shortly.
Okay, well, we're coming in the summer, so. Okay, so we're about
We're on
10,
our head.
we're about, I don't know, 10,000 miles apart or so. I don't know how many miles it is, but I'm always amazed at the video connection that's possible being this far away because, I mean, it looks very clear and so on. I do have to tell those listening in, however, that every once in a while Skype, goes a little funny on us and people look blurry and all that kind of stuff, so people have
You're
to
looking
get,
great, Gary.
I beg your pardon?
You're looking great.
Okay, well, great. Okay. But just in case things don't stay that way, listening audiences need to be aware of that. Now, we're talking not for your issues, but rather for your 6-year-old son's issues, correct?
Correct.
Okay, he's got some aggressive behavior, and you and I talked about this prior to the video recording, so I've got a little few things here to summarize all that. But in essence, what we're going to do after we summarize the issues is I'm going to teach you, coach you, how to do EFT for your son surrogately so you can help him out. And that's your understanding, right?
Sounds great. Yep.
Okay, all right. Have you ever done anything surrogately before with EFT?
I've tried maybe once or twice, but without perhaps the intent that's I probably needed to
Okay.
use there, Gary.
Well, I'll coach you through it. I'll coach you through it. But let's first of all go through some of the some of the details here of your son's history. Uh, his name is, pronounce it for me, Lachie.
That's right. Yeah,
Lachie.
lucky.
Okay. Lachie.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And so when I go through these things, please correct me if I have anything that's not quite accurate.
Certainly.
Okay. All right. Now, when he was born, he was not given to his mother right away. There was about an hour delay before he was actually given to his mother. And then within a couple of hours of that, being with the mother, there was a respiratory distress of some kind. The doctors took your son away from mother's arms, put him in an intensive care unit for 48 hours,
Correct.
meaning, from an emotional point of view, here's a brand new person, but no mother's love for 48 hours, which can be an eternity for somebody brand new to this planet.
Correct.
Okay. We don't know if that really caused any later on behavior problems, but it's a clue anyway, and we need to be aware of it. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and so he became unsettled at home. There was this, I think you described it as a, not just a scream, but he would have a fearsome scream, and it was way over the top, something that was, would really get your attention. Not just a normal infant's "I'm crying because I'm hungry" type scream. This was a way over the top type scream. And okay, and he was also weaned from mother's breast at 3 months because there wasn't enough milk or there was some quality problem with the milk. Explain that to me, could you?
We missed out the twin part here, Gary.
Oh yes, yeah,
Lucky was born the first of two of twins,
yeah.
and his sister Sienna was breastfeeding normally right through till about 9 or 10 months. But
Okay,
Lockie, his demand for milk from his mum was such that he had to be weaned at 3 months.
oh okay,
So he wasn't just away from his mum; he was also away from his sister in the intensive care unit.
okay, yeah. So he was all alone.
He sure was. He was abandoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And he, as a result of being weaned away, he developed acid reflux.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Started immediately.
At age 3 months. He also had a hernia at about 6 weeks and an operation for that.
That's right.
And I think you told me you were suspecting that the reason for the hernia was he was screaming so intently that that would contribute to a hernia.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now he's age 6. He has very aggressive tendencies, behavior towards his sister. He has a friend or two, but has some difficulty maintaining and developing friendships. Do I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So, the thing to do here surrogately, well, first of all, have you ever tried to do EFT on him, uh, you know, for his issues? Just there he's sitting there and you do the EFT for the issues.
Yes.
And with what kind of result?
Not really a great deal of results. And Lockie is someone that's very receptive to EFT, and we've had some tremendous successes with him for other things. He had a couple of front teeth that were condemned by a dentist. We used EFT to rescue those teeth.
Ah,
So
interesting.
we've had fantastic successes. Yes,
Okay.
but just not on this issue.
Okay, but so he will sit still for you doing EFT on him.
Yes, absolutely.
Some children, yes. Some children, no. Those with behavior issues tend to get a little restless sometimes and won't really do it. But he will.
He
But,
will.
but somehow or other, when you are addressing these issues with him, no result. Yes.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So.
I should actually, sorry, there's probably one piece of the picture I forgot to mention there, Gary,
Uh-huh.
and that Lockie is a chronic thumb sucker, and he also gets comfort from his sister's hair. He will sit there endlessly if he's able, and just tug on his sister's hair while sucking his thumb. If it's not his sister's hair, it'll be his mum's hair. If it's not I should say mom.
Uh-huh.
If it's not his mother's hair, then it's his hair. So there's a real tactile sort of connection going on there that we don't really understand.
When you say hair, you mean like this kind of hair, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So when you're applying EFT to Lockie, tell me how you for the behavior issues. Tell me how you do it. Like even though I what?
Even though I was abandoned at birth, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Okay. Anything else?
Certainly there's been variations of that I've tried, Gary, but you and I talked the other day, we mentioned that perhaps I wasn't being specific enough. That was one of the things we discussed.
Okay.
And
So
I agree that.
yeah. And let me comment here. It's sometimes with somebody 6 years old, it's really difficult to get as specific as we might want, as specific as we can get with an adult. For example, when you use the term abandoned, that might have a different meaning to an adult than it does to a 6-year-old child. Okay?
Sure.
Could. And so better to get down to, even though I felt so alone. That's a little more specific. That gets down to the actual emotions that they were feeling. I felt so alone. I was worried where my mother was. I was angry because nobody was there to love me anymore. Whatever it may have been, but to have that kind of a conversation with a 6-year-old is a little more challenging than to have it with an adult.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So one of the nice things you can do about surrogate work is that you can imagine that you are your son, and then you can start using terms that you are familiar with because you are his son, in this example, and therefore they're more likely to land. And so you don't have the language or communication barrier that could be there.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm looking here over some of these notes, and I have to speculate here because I'm not Lucky, and so I'm going to help you speculate a little bit because you're not him either. But what could he have been feeling? I mean, here, for example, he's born. All right. Well, that has to be a strange experience for anyone. You're inside of, a mother's womb. It's warm or whatever it is in there, but it's safe or whatever. However he may have seen that. Now he's outside. Just the mere fact of being born can be traumatic to some people. So even though I just came out of this warm, nice place, and this is so strange to me, and I feel so alone. You with me? That's you making it up. Okay? He may or may
Sure.
not. He may or may not have felt that. But you can make up whatever you want to, and the more thorough you can be, the better. Okay? And so then there is the, now I'm with my mother. I guess he's being breastfed at that moment, or that within that hour he's with her. He's at least in her arms. Oh, this feels good. Now I'm taken away. What is this? I'm 48 hours away. I don't know what's going on, whether they have to put needles in him and attach him to stuff and whatever, but nobody's touching him. You know, where's my love? What is this place out here? I feel alone. Nobody loves me. Where's that womb again? Okay. See how I'm making all this up? And you
Sure.
can make it up yourself. Don't just choose what I happen to be making up. Make up what you want to make up. Okay. About
All right.
that experience, and then you'll be tapping. I'll coach you through this in a minute. Right now, I'm trying to give you some highlights. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And then imagine, you're coming home. Now, you said he was unsettled at home. I have no idea what could be happening at home. Maybe it's just a replay of, I'm not yet resolved on all the stuff that happened in the hospital. Or you can make up other things along the way that may have happened in the home. There may have been, some difficulties, with sleeping or with feeding or with, elimination or anything. I don't know what it might have been, but you can make up some stuff in between that could have happened that might be upsetting to him. The acid reflux, I've never had that myself. I know people who've had it, and boy, that's no fun. I don't care what age you are. And so here I am, lucky, and now I'm having this pain in my body, this discomfort in my body, this thing, but my body's not working right. And that is upsetting to me, and I don't understand that. And, who's here to help me? And this is an unsafe world, and I feel unsafe, and on you go, okay?
Sure thing.
All right. And then the hernia, that's got to be no, because I gather they had to open up his body to repair the hernia.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And so he's probably under anesthetic for that, but when he wakes up, there's pain.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So even though I've got this pain and I've had this acid reflux and this hernia pain and I feel so alone, keep going on all this stuff, because the more you can bring this up into awareness, the more of a disruption you've got going in EFT terms, the more energy disruption you have. The more it's on the surface, the better you can bring it down with EFT. And then you can actually get to the behavior that he has with his sister, and you have to make that up. Is he jealous of his sister? Why do you think he would have aggressive behavior?
It makes sense to me intuitively that there's some jealousy that he harbors towards his sister.
Okay.
Something that she did, but he didn't.
And I would maybe impose on that, or superimpose on, or offer to that the sister is getting some form of love that he's not. He's looking for love. If I'm interpreting properly, his background up until this point, with the pain, the abandonment, as you call it, and so on, he's saying, I don't deserve love. That may not be his words, but I'm going to use that for the term. I may not deserve love. I'm lacking love. Love isn't here for me, whatever the case may be. My sister's getting it. I'm not. And therefore, I need to be aggressive against her. Okay? And maybe, and here, this is just more speculation. I'm just trying to give you ideas. Maybe as new friends come along, the parents, the sister, may befriend the new friends, and he may thinking, oh, they're going over towards my sister, my friends, therefore I'm more aggressive still, and I won't even have friends. I made that up completely just to give you some way for your imagination to go on these things.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm appropriately cued there, Gary.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm appropriately cued.
Okay. All right.
Cued.
Good. Cued.
I'm cued up.
Yes. All right. So,
Said come through again.
that's just sort of highlights where you might go. So let me give you a little coaching on the surrogate bit, and let's just go back to very early on when he's taken away from mother after an hour. Right? Right? Okay. Now he's going to go from there into the ICU unit. So assume you're Lockie for the moment, and give me your self-talk as best as you can put it together.
Well, it starts earlier, Gary. I think there's a period there where my wife is she's receiving an epidural, and she's not even aware that Lockie's crowning. She's not aware that I'm crowning. So there's all this expectancy, and there's no one there to meet the poor fella.
Okay, all right. Then what is your self-talk then? You Lockie are now crowning, and there's nobody there to meet you. Give me your self-talk.
I don't know what I feel, Gary.
Well, you're gonna see. This is the skill of surrogate. You're gonna make it up. Okay. Obviously, you're not there. Obviously, Howard, aren't crowning. Okay, at the moment, you're not coming out of the birth canal. So you have to imagine what that might be. So, he's in a warm place. He's coming out into a new place. Use your imagination. Give me some words.
There's no one there for me.
Okay. All right. Start tapping. Even though there's no one there for me. Okay.
Even though there's no one there for me.
See, what I just did is I just had you use your own words, okay, as Lockie, and then start tapping. Now, whether they're accurate or not, we don't know. But if we keep doing this, we're going to hit the target often enough to do some good. That's the point, okay? So there you are with this emotional thing. There's no one there for me. So go ahead. Do a round of EFT on that. You might want to start it off with, even though I'm Lockie, because, by the way, becoming Lockie, you don't have to go through a big routine for it. You just, boom, you just become him. That's it. Happens in less than a second. But if you want, you can just say, even though I'm Lockie, and then go on, okay?
All right.
So go ahead.
Even though I'm Lockie, I accept myself completely, and I'm up for this task.
Okay.
Even though I'm Lockie, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to be Lockie.
Okay. Or you could just say, even though I'm Lockie, and I'm coming out and there's nobody there for me.
Even though I'm Lockie, I'm coming out and there's no one there for me.
Okay, are you tapping here?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then go ahead with the EFT process. Go ahead. I'll just watch in.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
All right.
I'm Lockie and there's no one here for me. I'm a great kid. And I'm ready for this world. Even though I'm Lockie and there's no one there for me, I'm a great kid. And I choose to let go of this fear. All this fear of having no one there for me. I'm ready, but they're not. I feel a lot of fear, a lot of trepidation. I've been waiting for this moment for a while now, and there's no one there to greet me. I'm a bit upset about this. All this fear around having no one present for my debut.
Okay.
All this fear.
All right. Now, I'm going to presume from watching you do this that part of your EFT education has come from the internet, correct?
I think that would be fair to say, yes.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there, and unfortunately, a lot of it will take you in the wrong directions. Okay. So let me talk about a couple of things, so I can zero in on your EFT approach a little bit. Doesn't mean these things don't work, but I'm trying to get things down to the standard way they should be done. We start off at the top of the head. You ended at the back of the head, but the real point is the top of the head, and you start with that now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right at the very top of the head, and you can either slap or you can use your fingertips. Okay. and then you do the rest of the point. Somewhere in there you said, I choose, okay? And it's not that I choose is a, quote, bad thing. People tend to use it inappropriately. See, that what we're trying to do with EFT is we're trying to aim at the negative and get rid of the negative. That's what we're trying to do. The I choose, the choices thing, or the I choose thing tends to be misused in that people will say, even though, you know, this negative thing, etc., I choose, and then they put some positives in there, okay? And when you start to choose a positive, what you're doing is you're, in a way, diluting the process, because we want to zero in on the negative.
All right.
Okay, the I choose thing seems to have a nice, therapeutic, happy ring to it. You know, it feels comforting. But as far as doing EFT in its most efficient way, it tends to dilute it a little bit. So it leaves the I choose out. Okay. The other thing is you were tapping here. You were tapping like here. The actual point is up here. Where did you learn to tap here?
It's a good point, Gary. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Well, I would urge you to go to my current website at the free tutorial that's on there, because there's the whole, where the tapping points and all that are there. There's a video about them and everything. But the actual tapping point should be up here. It's called the collarbone point, but the easiest way to get to it is to make a fist and thump at the very top of your breastbone, about where a man would knot his tie. And that will get both sides of it. Hold on, technology calls, just a minute. Okay, so I mean that's just kind of a minor aside. So the other stuff that you did, I thought was, you know, really good. I mean, the way you worded it, you were imagining yourself being locking, using all those words. Okay, great. Okay, but just for completeness, why don't you do that same thing again? Start here and go to the top of the head and come down. Use this point instead of this point. Leave the I choose out and do another round just for that particular specific event.
All right. Even though I'm ready to come out and no one's there for me, I deeply and completely accept myself.
Good.
Even though...
Wait, stop you a second. The other thing, I forgot to mention this. You're doing 3 rounds of this. That was taught in the very, very, very early stages of EFT. We only need to do 1 round of it now.
Okay.
So just do it saves you time. Just do 1 round, even though and then start doing your tapping. Okay.
Even though I'm ready to come out and there's no one there for me, they're not aware that I'm ready to come out. Mm-hmm. I deeply, completely accept myself.
Yes.
They're not ready for me. They're not ready for me. They don't even know I'm here. They're not ready for me. They're not ready for me. They're not even aware I'm here. They're not ready for me. They're not ready for me.
Okay. All right. That was very good. The only thing I might suggest there is you get more into how do I feel about that. They're not ready for me, yes, but how do I feel about that? Don't I count, for example?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel left out. You could use the term abandoned because you know what abandoned means, okay? I feel abandoned. Who's here? Okay? So the idea is to get more into, as much as you can, into how I feel about it, because that's what you're trying to collapse with this. It's that emotional response that he's now, we think, replaying when he has aggressive behavior against his sister.
Sure.
Okay. See, he's feeling in some way, shape, or form lack of love. Nobody's there. Nobody loves me. It's an unlovable place I'm coming to. Okay. And he wants love. And we're guessing in this case, sister is getting it. He perceives he's not, at least relative to all that, and so on. So, all right. So all right. Let's go from there. And what you may want to do, is do even 2 or 3 more rounds on that, thinking of it from different angles, etc. You want to be as thorough as you can on that one specific piece. And let me emphasize again, the best thing always to do is specific events, not I felt abandoned, because that's too broad. Okay, but I'm now coming out of the birth canal. That's a very specific event. Okay, it's very short in time. Okay, so the next specific event along the line would be.
It was when Lockie would normally be given to his mum immediately after birth, but for some reason that didn't happen. Instead, he went straight with the very junior registrar to get his APGAR scores taken, and she took an inordinate amount of time. So he was away from mum right from the get-go.
Okay.
And
I didn't hear that phrase. To get his what taken?
APGAR. APGAR. APGAR scores.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's a standard. Sorry, Gary. It's a standard test that's taken for infants at 1 and 5 minutes after birth.
Oh, okay.
So it just measures respiratory function, arousability, that sort of thing.
All right. So now he's not given to mother at this point. He's actually coming out into the world, and whatever what would have been, I mean, become Lockie, and what would be his response to that? Okay. So give me the words. Give me his self-talk at that moment.
He's terrified.
Okay.
Lockie's terrified.
All right. Very important to see. Terrified. He may not know what that words means at that age, but you know what it means. I am terrified. What is all this about? So get into the terrified thing and give me an EFT round on it.
Even though I haven't been given to my mum, I'm terrified about that. I'm a great kid. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I haven't been given to my mum, it's like this critical part of this journey that hasn't been completed yet. I need to be with my mum, and that hasn't happened, and I'm terrified about that. I deeply and completely accept myself.
Okay, you don't need to do 3. You've done 2. Just keep going.
I'm terrified. I feel frightened. I'm so afraid. I should be with my mum, but I'm with some stranger. And I can sense I need to be with my mum. I have all this fear. So much fear.
Yeah. Good. Now, for subsequent round, what else might he be feeling? I'm going to suggest some form of lack of love. I mean, who is this stranger that's doing whatever these things are? They don't seem to care. I'm making this up, okay? But you can find your own in there. So you'll want to do another 2 or 3 rounds there on different angles of that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what's the next event?
Well, the next event will be the respiratory distress. When he finally did come back to his mum, no, actually, there's one more step there, actually, Gary. There was an opportunity for him to come back to his mum, but for the fact that his sister was now heavily engaged, and she needed to come out. So he came to me. He came to me for comfort, but he didn't get to his mum at all, really, for at least the first hour.
Okay. All right. And so what might be his self-talk and his feelings, self-talk and feelings during that event?
Yeah, well, I'm getting this idea that he's actually quite angry with his sister. All the attention is taken away from him, and it's all on her.
Yeah. Okay. He may or may not have even perceived that. We don't know. Okay. Mm-hmm. But go at it. Just go at it, because if you keep at this, you're going to be on the target enough and hit the bullseye once in a while that it's going to count. Okay, so go ahead.
Even though I'm so angry with my sister, she's taking up all my mum's attention, and I need to be with her, but I can't. I'm a great kid, and I accept myself completely. I am so angry with my sister. She's taking up all my mum's time right now. I need to be with my mother, but I can't be. And so I'm angry with my sister. All this anger I have for my sister right now. There's no time for me. There's no time for Lockie. Where is the love? Where is the love? What's in it for me?
Okay. Good. Good. This is not rocket science. Okay. I just wanted to walk you through a few of these things so you get a good sense of the process. And so the process basically is become Lockie, narrow it down to a specific event in his life. That's an important thing. And what would be his self-talk, his feelings at the moment, and do some rounds of EFT. I would do this. I mean, we don't really, unless you want to, we don't need to go through the rest of the events that we talked about earlier, because those, unless you would like more coaching.
No, that's fine, Gary. I'm definitely getting the idea here.
Okay. Yeah. And so the thing to do is to keep doing that. I would do that a couple of times a day, 10 minutes each time. Just get by yourself a couple of times a day and do that. The only way you're going to know if it's working is by Lockie's behavior.
Sure.
Otherwise, he's not going to tell you, hey, Dad, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just going to be by his behavior. So you may see some immediate results. You may not see results for a week or two. Okay? But I would keep doing it. The odds of him changing his behavior are very high, because I've been through this with a number of parents before that do this. Okay? Your skills in doing it are going to get better as you practice it. And what's likely to happen is you observe your son in time, since you're tuned into this now, you'll start to get better senses of what he might be feeling in some of these circumstances, and can hone in on, can aim EFT a little more efficiently. Okay, so that all that happens. So I'll tell you, why don't you do that for a week?
All right.
And then email me, get back to me, and let me know how you're doing. And if need be, we'll get back on Skype, and we will, if you're not making any progress, that means something's missing someplace. We'll get back in, we'll do some more coaching and find out, what might be missing and that kind of stuff. But also let me know, if you're making progress as well, what's happening and so on. It would be my guess that Lockie there would be fewer incidences of him being aggressive towards his sister. The incidents he does have may tend to be less intense, less lengthy, less, all of that. You may find the way he deals with friends might improve some, and all of that. So, so let me leave you with that, unless, of course, you have questions for me that I can answer at this point.
No, look, that's really good, Gary. I really appreciate the tips you've given me. And look, I already feel that there's a couple of issues that I've missed before, and that really resonate there. I think I've got some great ideas for moving forward on this. Okay,
I would also urge you, to go to our website, see that tutorial again, not only for the tapping points, but you'll find a lot of other up to date refinements to the process. I'm not talking about necessarily the surrogate process as I am about the process in general, but that's sort of an override of what you're doing is the process in general, and you may find a few hints there that will help you along. So, okay, Howard, hello.
Hello, Gary. How you doing?
Good. I got an email from you. It's been like 4 or 5 weeks or something since we had our video before our Skype video.
Right.
Something like that. Okay, so you've done some surrogate, tapping for Lockie. You've had chances not only to assess yourself in the improvements, but also at school. When he's outside of your eyesight, so to speak, and his behavior there, you got feedbacks from teachers and counselors and that kind of stuff, right?
That's right. Well, as we discussed, it was really the idea from the teachers that there were real problems that got us thinking we had to take things to another level.
Okay.
So it was with that teacher's feedback that really things have started to accelerate.
Okay.
To get us where we are now.
Okay. So tell us what kind of improvements have occurred as a result of all of this.
Well, Lockie's major problem was aggression towards his sister, and that's pretty much been resolved. We've noticed a completely different kid at home. He's far more relaxed around his sister. They have a far better relationship.
Oh, okay.
And it was great to receive confirmation just this morning. I had a meeting with his teacher last year and also his teacher this year to find out whether that aggression still persists in the classroom, and it hasn't. It's gone.
It's
no longer.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Okay, so I mean, there isn't an occasional little spike or an occasional incident where maybe either at home or at school or something like that he gets a little uptight and aggressive.
Yeah, there has been the occasional remission. Just coming home on the bus last night, I got a report that Lockie had been showing aggression towards his sister, and we discussed that, he and I, and we reminded him of that metaphor that you and I were talking about before, Gary. We discussed that metaphor with Lockie, and he decided that he was okay. He didn't need any more tapping at that point.
Okay, all right, good. So it's not 100% gone. I just want to be accurate, is all. Would you say 90% gone, 95, 80%? What would you say?
We're talking 90%. Possibly 95.
Okay, 95%. All right, great. So that was the aggression towards the sister. As I recall it, though, there was also some, I don't know what the right term is, hesitancy on his part to gain new friends or something like that. There was a social difficulty of some kind.
Lockie's big problem since starting school has been individuating from his sister. He is, as a twin, very close to his sister, but he was very anxious coming into that classroom environment as a new entrant.
Yeah.
And he displayed a lot of anxiety. And the way that he really showed that was in his support, and looking to his sister for his close support. He would take himself over to wherever she was and sit down next to her and cuddle up to her, and he would then start playing with her hair, and he would suck his thumb.
Uh-huh.
And that behaviour has also diminished considerably. He no longer has that need to really rely on his sister for his soothing, if you like. He's more able to self-manage his soothing. And
so is that also roughly 90% improved, or would you give it some other number?
I'd say about 80%.
80%. Okay, great. But does that also resolve into better friendship with other children, or not?
Yes, it has.
Oh, okay.
It has. Yeah, so Lockie is no longer dependent on his sister for his, if you like, his own source of companionship during the day. He's developed friendships with other kids.
All right, fabulous. I've got to emphasize there are many, many people. There are thousands of people, parents like yourself, who have children that are disadvantaged in these ways, and something like this, like a simple surrogate EFT thing, can make a huge difference. That's why I'm so happy that you're here. You're doing this. You went to the effort of doing it, and now we've got the results, and so everybody can tune in here. I would like to do one other thing with you before we sign off, Howard, and that's can you give some sense of when you were doing the surrogate EFT, what kind of specifics did you get to? I know at one point you eventually got on the idea that I'm not good enough was a very important thing that you got from tuning in, etc. But can you just expand on that a little bit? The mechanics of what you did?
Yeah, perhaps if I just talk very briefly, Gary, about what I did to actually get into Lockie's space. I took some photographs that were taken of him when he was in the neonatal intensive care unit, and I looked at those photographs for clues, if you like, as to what Lockie might have been feeling. And then I started tapping on myself as if I was Lockie.
Yes.
And it literally hit me like a freight train, the idea of not being good enough. And from there, we started to look at all the different aspects that could have been coming up in the ICU, the sensations that he was experiencing as well. So while there is this global focus on not being good enough, and I think that was critical to the improvement we've got, we also looked at all the other aspects of his time in the intensive care unit, where he was away from his mother, where the feelings of abandonment might have been, the sorts of sensations that he was experiencing.
Yes, okay, good. All right, very good. Anything else you want to add, or is that it?
incredibly grateful to you, Gary. In no small way have you yourself and EFT improved our quality of life. I'm a very grateful dad, and I know that Lockie, one of the things he said to me is, "I'm lucky to have you as a dad," and I thought
Ah,
that was tremendous, tremendous to say. Well, we're grateful. The EFT community is grateful to you, Gary.
okay. Well, thank you so much. And those who are going to watch this and benefit from it are equally grateful to you. I guarantee you, Howard. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary.
All right.